So I'm playing Miss Marvel. I've never played Miss Marvel before. Um, in fact, I had not really read her until I just sat down at the table. Uh, she has generic alter ego side of small card advantage. Hers is a little interesting because she like mills herself. The other side, she's a 1/1/1, so she's like the smallest of
Mm-hmm.
actual stats on a guy. But she you can use her exhaust to replay actions, which is kind of
That
interesting.
is cool.
Um, so that's what she does. She comes with 15 cards like everybody. They're again, I'm just like I was talking about last week. I am surprised by the power of the non-starter kit heroes
Right.
base cards because essentially every pack has some number of remove 3 threat ish and some number of deal 4 damage ish, and she just has those, but they cost 2
Mm-hmm.
sneak by and big hands, which I think is very powerful having the lower resource cost. She has a prevent 3 damage, draw a card. She has some resource generators, and she has a this guy Bruno Corelli is like the card I'm most interested in. Um, he has alter ego exhaust him, and you put a card from your hand under him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has action add up to 3 cards under him to your hand.
That's
So
cool.
you like charge him up, and then you can have a big turn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very interesting. I will probably misplay it several times, but uh, he seems cool to me. So I through the randomizer, I was paired with Justice.
Correct.
In my deck, I have the 3 basic resources, the doubles. I am playing both Power of Justices in this deck because I have a lot of cards that they hit. Um, I will pick this up. Those are very simple. Everybody
Yeah,
knows.
those are just your resource generators.
In the Ally Suite, I have a Nick Fury and a Mockingbird. I would think both these are very good. I think every deck should have a Nick Fury. I think most decks should have a Mockingbird.
I agree.
Not all decks need a Mockingbird, but
most. They're just universally well suited allies in any deck, right. And I think that for right now, until we get some more options in either the aspect cards and or the neutral cards, they're just going to be staples for a while.
Yeah, Nick Fury's bonkers.
Right.
Like just
he may never get replaced. I mean, it just may be a card that
right. He's just in the pile I put in everything.
The good news is he comes in the base set, so you really, if you have the base set, you have your Nick Furies and
you have like enough Nick Furies for everyone because you can only play one anyway.
Right.
So then I have the Justice ones, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Quake is a new one that I haven't played with before. I think both these guys are just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, I think, is kind of bad, but she is like a safety net against.
And she's probably pretty good against wreckers, right? Like I think she's a fine choice for wreckers because
are these side schemes?
Side schemes. They count?
Oh well, then she's great in this mode.
Yeah.
But in general, I like to play her just because like when things get out of hand, she gets really good.
Right.
She just solves like the buried in side schemes problems.
Absolutely.
So Quake is the new one that I'm pretty interested in. She is a 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 health, and after a minion schemes, you can exhaust her to do 2 damage. So I think that she's good because she can essentially like attack schemers without taking the consequential with her ability. And it's very easy to like force your minions to scheme just by controlling your side.
Your side, yep.
So you can really like control her power. I think that she's probably going to be good. She's cheap and has a cool power, so I'm going to try her out.
I would agree. I think that she's a really good, reasonable.
I will mention the ally you get in the pack here real quick because I think he's kind of interesting too. Red Dagger. This is a character I know nothing about in the comics, but he's a 2/2 for 2/2/3, so that's pretty good for 3. And when he dies, you can discard 2 cards, do 2 damage to something, and return them to your hand. So the cards have to have separate resources. And I guess you don't have to actually discard cards. You have to spend 2 resources, but essentially discard cards.
Right.
With different types, and you get them back. So when you think about it, if you're spending 2 for 1, so it's kind of like spending 1 because you get him back as a card that you could use as a resource or play again. I don't know. he has a lot of text on him, and I'm interested to see what he does. Then I have some generic resource makers. In this deck. I'm starting to play below the 3 of each of these, though it pains me to do so. So I have 2 mansions and 2 helicarriers.
Okay.
I have 2 enhanced physiques, and I'm trying these out. I've been kind of low on these, the 3 different ones. There's one for each type. But when I was building the combo deck, I had like as many of these as I could play, and they seem to perform pretty well, so I'm trying them out. I chose this one because there's a single card in the events that requires a melee resource.
So you can just bank it for when you need it.
Right. Yep. And I mean, I'll just use them whenever, but this one is 2% better because if I have the 1 card in the 40 that needs the melee, it's a little better.
Yep.
I'm playing 1 endurance. I don't know if this is good. It's not the kind of card that I like to play, but it seems like everybody likes it, so I'm trying it out.
Yeah, I've been putting 1 endurance in just because I think it helps your heroes extend their health pool.
It's the best healing card that I could find because it gives you an additional lasting advantage by thinning your deck, giving you the extra points for the whole game.
Whereas she has first aid doesn't do that.
Right. She has an insane recover stat, so you can fill back up
pretty quickly
to the maximum very fast. Then I'm playing 3 beat cops. I talked about this.
That card's insane.
Yeah, I talked about this in the. Was I playing Strange that day?
Yep.
Yeah, how this is just the best one of these.
Yep.
And
it's got to be the best yellow card in the game, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean this one's pretty good.
Interrogation room. Yeah.
And the cost difference is the only reason I would consider this. The text on BCOP is obviously much better than the text on Interrogation Room, but it's just the cost difference. I'm also a big fan of the card Great Responsibility.
Okay.
Which I think is a very good card. It's not in this pile, though it came really close. I was upset to find out that you can't Miss Marvel the Great Responsibility back, because she only returns
her cards, right?
Well, attack, thwart, or defense cards.
Oh, okay.
And it didn't have that text. I thought it has a thwart on it, but it does not. Then I have 2 one-ofs of these yellow events that essentially, I think that her pile events are much better than these, but I wanted to have some additional kind of things to hit with her, return an event.
Sure.
So I have Stealth Strike. This is deal 4 if it kills a thing, remove 2 threat. And then Concussive Blow is this is the 1 melee card, so it confuses an enemy. If you paid melee, it does 3.
Sure.
So this deck has a pile of melee things. It's essentially always going to be 3 and confuse, and because of the Marvel ability, you have the potential to confuse twice off that. So that is the pile. I hope that it's good. I don't actually know.